First, make sure your render engine is set to Eevee. Open a shader editor and assign an HDRI or other scene lighting. Delete the default cube and add a plane to form the floor for the room. Scale it up and then extrude the back wall. Add a loop cut and extrude a baseboard. Add a white color that will be used for the baseboard. Then add and assign both a wall and floor color. Model a simple firebox from a cube by scaling, insetting, and then extruding a side. Update the name to Firebox and name the background to Room. Assign a dark metal material to the firebox. Add a noise texture for some roughness. Now model a simple modern fireplace. Add some loop cuts and delete the portion in front of the firebox. Add a material to the fireplace. I am using marble for mine. Push the fireplace and firebox simultaneously against the wall. Now create a wood mantle and scale it to size and place it on the fireplace. Add some furniture and knickknacks to your scene to add realism. The models I am using, as well as some of the materials, are from Polygon.com. See the link below. Next, use a cube to create the grate for the logs. Flatten the cube and create loop cuts similar to the ones shown here. Remove the unnecessary faces and bridge the gaps with new faces. Bend the ends and the edges and resize appropriately. Then place the grate into the firebox. Add a black metal material for the grate. Add a cylinder to create the first log. Rotate it on its side, scale it, and add some loop cuts. Then use grabbing, scaling, and rotation on the loops to add some variation to the shape of the log. Duplicate the log a couple of times and stack the logs. Rotate them on the y-axis to add variation between the logs. Add a brown material for the logs. It doesn't need to be highly detailed, as the logs will not be very visible. Then move the logs so they are sitting on the grate. Now add some glass doors to the fireplace. Add some loop cuts and bevel them slightly to create breaks in the glass. Extrude them slightly backwards. Add the remainder of the frame in the middle and at the top and bottom. Add a cube to create one of the handles for the fireplace doors. Scale it, add a loop cut, and bevel the corners for a more rounded appearance. Then remove the extra pieces and bridge the open parts of the mesh with faces. Place the handle on the frame of the glass windows and duplicate it for the other side. Add a glass material for the doors. Invert the selection with Ctrl-I and then assign the black material to the frame. Now select the logs and add a quick smoke effect. Resize the domain so that it fits inside the firebox. Adjust the log's physics properties. Change the flow type to fire. Update the fuel and surface emission to 0.75. Next, enable texture and go to the Texture tab in the Properties editor to create a new texture. Select Cloud and change the size to 0.1 and the contrast under Colors to 5. Now on the Physics tab, select the newly made texture under Texture. Update the domain with the following settings. Resolution divisions. I'm using 64 here, but the more you can bump this up, the more realistic your fire will look. Check Dissolve and bump the time to 10. Under Fire, set the reaction speed to 2 and the vorticity to 0.1. Change the cache type to modular. Now add some color to the domain. First, add a multiply node to the emission strength. Then add a color ramp in front of that. Adjust the black way up, then add another color and move it to the right of the white, and make it a little darker. Then bring in an attribute node. Use the factor and set the name to heat. Now, also bring this factor into another color ramp and set it to mostly orange, with some yellow on the right-hand side. Plug this into emission color. Then bake the physics. Change the render engine to cycles and render your scene. I hope you have found this tutorial useful. Please like and subscribe.